that Alabama star freshman Brandon Miller brought now former teammate Darius Miles the handgun used to 23-year-old Janaea Harris.
Yesterday, Miller's name was mentioned in police testimony for allegedly bringing a gun to former teammate Darius Miles. That gun was later used in the murder of a 23-year-old woman last month.
So guys, ain't gonna lie, if there was one person, just one person on this place that we call Earth that I personally would not want to be in this specific moment in time, I'm not gonna lie, it's gotta be Mr. Brandon Miller. Now, over the course of the past 4 to 5 months, Brandon Miller went from a player that was highly recruited coming out of high school to committing to one of the top college programs in the country, being Alabama, to scouts comparing him to the likes of Kevin Durant, and is currently being projected as a top 3 pick in this up-and-coming 2023 NBA draft, to getting involved in one of the most interesting and saddening altercations and storylines in college basketball that just did not end well for an individual, to now getting booed and fans yelling at him on the court saying, quote unquote, lock him up. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, Brandon Miller has to be arguably the most hated man in college basketball in this specific moment in time. But you watching this video, what if I told you Brandon Miller, he honestly may not be the person that you think he is? So guys, boom, born in 2002, Brandon Miller is from a super small town called Antioch, located near Nashville, Tennessee. And this city only has a population of only about 86,000 people. There's not really much that you can find about Brandon Miller from his middle school days, but ever since he stepped onto the hardwood floor for Cane Ridge High School, he was an instant star. Like I said, throughout his 4 years, he was always regarded as a top player in his 2022 graduating class. He also earned the Tennessee Gatorade Player of the State 2 times consecutively in his junior and senior year, and he finished his high school career as the 9th ranked player in the 2022 high school class. Now, as a 6'9" small forward with high IQ, who has a knack for scoring the ball and can put the ball on the floor, you can only imagine the amount of offers that Brandon Miller stacked up throughout his run in high school. However, he ultimately decided to commit to the Crimson Tide at Alabama, and this is essentially where his draft stock definitely went up. Prior to the season, scouts, they knew Brandon Miller was a good player, but they didn't realize how skilled of an overall player that he was going to be, and he was never mentioned within the top 5 of players in this 2023 NBA draft class. Now, in some of the way too early NBA mock drafts, Brandon was projected to get drafted outside of the lottery within that 16 to 20 range, and although it's definitely a high praise to even be in the conversation to get drafted, considering the amount of passion that Brandon does play with, I'm pretty sure this made Brandon feel some type of way, and it led Brandon to having one of the biggest breakout years for any freshmen in the country. He's currently the freshman nation's leading scorer in points, averaging about 20 points a game, and he's also leading the SEC conference in 3-point field goal percentage. He's second in free throw percentage, and he's also top 5 in rebounding, and he's also led Alabama to have some of the most impressive wins this season, beating teams like Arkansas, UNC, Houston, Michigan State, Kentucky. I can go on and on and on, and Alabama is currently a top 3 overall ranked team in the entire country. Like I said at the beginning of the video, what makes Brandon Miller so great, and the reason why scouts are comparing him to some of these highly talented NBA players, is simply because defenders just cannot stop him from putting the ball in the hole. He has the ability to engage himself in the offense, whether he has the ball or if he has to play off the ball. His ability to just knock the 3 ball so easy in any type of scenario makes him a threat on ball screens, and his 6'9" height and his long wingspan gives him the ability to just shoot the ball over any type of defender. You will also notice that he loves to take these high efficiency types of shots, and he's not a guy that's going to rush to get to his spots or will force a long 2 or a long 3. He's going to get his buckets within the flow of the offense. And you'll also notice whenever he is playing in the ball screen, he'll scope the defense, get within 5 to 8 feet of the basket, and just toss the ball in the hole. And I know it doesn't look like his athletic ability is just out the roof, especially from the outside looking in, but I promise you, Brandon Miller, you don't want to go toe-to-toe with Brandon Miller. He's also caught a ton of bodies already this year, and I anticipate that he's going to be catching even more bodies with the way that a lot of these defenders just think he's sweet, and they're going to be trying him at the rim. Considering the talent that he is as an overall player and as an overall scorer, his passion and his tenacity within his game, that's what really speaks to me. He lives for the bright lights. He lives for the big moments, the pressured games, and he's a guy that I just know will fight through adversity in any specific moment in time. And you can honestly just see it with the way that he carries himself on the floor and how well he's played so far this season. All that has led to Brandon to be projected to get drafted somewhere within that top 5 across a lot of these mock drafts. Now that was before. Unfortunately, that was before an altercation took place on January 15th, 2023. And like I said at the beginning of the video, this is when Brandon Miller and his life changed forever. A long story short, Brandon had a teammate named Darius Miles who was involved in an altercation that involved himself, a friend, and a girl. And supposedly, Darius texted Brandon Miller to bring a weapon to the scene where he was picking up Darius Miles. And supposedly, a few minutes after Brandon arrived to the scene, shots were fired and somebody lost their life. Now, this situation is very sad from all angles, no matter how you look at the situation. And it's crazy how one decision can ultimately ruin the rest of your life. Now, where does Brandon even fall into this situation? Why are people mad at him? Why are people mad that he's playing? Why are people saying lock him up? And why is this man essentially the most hated man in college basketball right now? I feel like it's mainly because supposedly he's the one who bring the weapon, and people are saying if he didn't bring it, things wouldn't have ended the way that they did. We don't know that. I feel like a part of the story that not a lot of people are talking about and bringing up is the fact that the entire situation is caught on camera. Brandon Miller wasn't even aware of the altercation that was about to take place. He was essentially picking up his friend, and Brandon Miller, he knows who Brandon Miller is and the future that he's going to have. People are making it seem like Brandon, he knew the situation that was going to unfold. And then on top of that too, this man Brandon is literally cooperating with the police. He's being a good citizen and is doing his best to get to the bottom of the situation. And in 2023, it's crazy because if it was the opposite and he was trying to act hard and he wasn't snitching and whatnot, I feel like people would probably be giving him his respect, which is honestly crazy. And like I said, the entire situation, it's caught on camera. I'm not giving my opinion on if he should or shouldn't be playing. All I personally know is the fact that he is cooperating and there's not any evidence, at least in this specific moment in time, that he did anything illegal. And I personally do think that does say something. People are painting this picture of Brandon that we don't even know yet with the information that is given. And I just feel like a lot of people are jumping to conclusions and speaking with their emotions versus actual logic. But one thing that I know is that the right people that are involved in the situation, they're definitely locked up. Somebody lost their life, a family has to mourn for their rest of their life, and it's just a sad situation all around. I'm just personally praying for the family that lost a loved one first and foremost over anything, and I pray that people just don't feel the need to resort to getting involved with weapons and resorting to violence over small petty situations. I just pray that Brandon Miller at the end of the day learns from a situation like this and just never gets involved in anything like this for the foreseeable future. He just has way too much to lose, and he's on his way to becoming an NBA star. He's going to be able to feed his family for generations to come, and I like Brandon Miller. He's easily one of my favorite players and freshmen to watch this season, and I definitely feel like he is must-watch TV, and I definitely hope that he does have a breakout March Madness tournament, and everything at the end of the day just comes full circle. Guys, you watching this video, this Brandon Miller situation is definitely intriguing. I definitely don't think at the beginning of the year anybody thought a situation like this would even occur, especially with the player with the stature and the name like a Brandon Miller. Like I said, Brandon Miller is on his way to becoming one of the top picks in this up-and-coming 2023 NBA draft. His story is very interesting to me. I do think that his future is definitely bright. And I want to know what you personally think about this situation as a whole. Guys, these videos definitely take a lot of energy and a lot of editing and whatnot to make. So if you can just leave a like on the video, it'll help me out in so many ways you guys have no idea. We're about to hit 25,000 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that red button, subscribe to the channel if you love basketball content, interesting basketball videos, high school, college, all that. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. Tell your family you love them. Tell your friend you love them. Yeah, with all that being said, guys, thank you for watching. And this has been another episode of Juice Made TV. Peace.